We're still telling your story here on SA Today. Thank you so much for staying with us. Making initiation safer is what the National Initiation Oversight Committee of Parliament was focusing on today. The committee arranged hearings with New Brighton community members to get their first-hand views on initiation ceremonies. The Parliamentary Committee aims to establish provincial initiation coordinating committees countrywide, with of course the aim of forming strong working relations with these. In this way, raising awareness and also conducting workshops to assist the traditional doctors. Now, the subject is a very highly emotional one, as many traditionalists are of the opinion that it should be left to the traditional leaders to deal with it and that it should not be discussed in an open forum. Well, joining us in studio to talk about what the proposed bill should entail is Community Development Foundation of South Africa, CODEFSA, Executive Director, Mr. Nkululeko Nxesi. Mr. Nxesi, what a pleasure. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
So, look, firstly, tell us how long CODEFSA has actually been involved in these initiatives, and has it made any progress in, of course, achieving those intended objectives, sir?
Yeah, we started in 2013 with the summer season, where we're working with the traditional leaders and initiation forums. A part of what we've been doing was to develop evidence-based models like building rescue centers, where we take the vulnerable initiates and those that are assaulted, those that are underage, and put them in the rescue centers. And in the rescue centers, they will continue with the initiation, but also allowing male medical doctors who have undergone through the practice to come and deal with the healthy aspect of it. So with those interventions, we began to see the stabilization or the decrease of the infection. But over the years, we even had to change our name because we're no longer CODEFSA, we're Men and Boy Foundation, but that's the same organization. And obviously, there are other interventions that we've put in place which are beginning to work. And we've then been calling for government to assist the traditional leaders and initiation forums to scale up those interventions.
Absolutely, because it starts at community level, Mr. Nxesi. Now, let's talk about the bill itself. What do you feel it should include to fast-track all of these concerns that you've got?
Well, firstly, we welcome the bill because there is no issue in South Africa that must not be regulated, even if it's traditional initiation. But what we're saying is that the bill must not seek to change or to eradicate or to impose issues that are not going to be working properly with the initiation. For instance, as even in terms of the hearings themselves, as we're seeing is that the areas that they are identifying to conduct these areas, that's a huge miss, because you see, initiation is based on the subcultures. Now, it's good to have a national bill or an act, but that bill must at the national level.
It must accommodate everybody.
Yes, it must speak generical, and then must have a provincial bills that must be informed by provincial dynamics. But then the provincial bills are not enough. We've seen it in Eastern Cape because there is an act where during the winter season people just did not comply because it was not talking to the subcultures. What do I mean by this? For instance, in Eastern Cape, you must then take into cognizance that they are Hlubi-speaking Africans, they are Sotho-speaking Africans. Then what must then do? You must then develop bylaws based in the municipalities, because it is bylaws of the municipalities that people will identify with and respect them. Other than that, you are going to have a nice bill that is not going to be enforceable. Because we had a bill, but you still had deaths and people were arrested, but come when they are supposed to be prosecuted, there are no witnesses because people in the communities, they fear to come forward and testify. So a bill on its own is not going to assist. You need to make sure that you build it within the subcultures of the people.
You know, while we're talking about this bill and the subcultures of this whole topic, Mr. Nxesi, I mean, the issue of traditional leaders being against this being discussed in an open forum, and also the practice itself is still very, very secretive. And these are the very reasons that we've seen the rise in illegal operators and so many deaths that have arisen. I mean, isn't it high time that we spoke openly without, of course, tarnishing and taking away from the tradition about the problems surrounding initiation?
Look, there are things that we don't have to hide them, because, for instance, it's an open secret that boys are dying, and we know what is killing these boys.
And that should be the concern.
Those things, we can talk about them and how we can address these challenges. However, those things that are sacred, because one person once said, if you want to take out the weed, don't take the weed with the plant. Now, what we mean by that is that let's discuss the issues that can be discussed in the public domain. But also, let me try to, to say something that that people might not know, because people have been saying, is it not high time that now we must modernize this practice because boys are dying in the initiation school?
Yes.
What we are beginning to see, particularly in Eastern Cape, what is increasing these deaths is what is called medical male circumcision. Because what happens is that Department of Health, thinking that there is an easy solution to this, they take boys, they take them to hospital, they circumcise them in hospital, in most cases without parental consent.
Yeah.
When these boys come back into the communities, now they are stigmatized, they are discriminated because they didn't go to traditional initiation.
Process,
now they are
yes.
forced to go back to initiation. When they go back there, now they are re-circumcised, which is not even circumcision, now it's mutilation.
And they, also when they come back from those hospitals, babies were things like Hamakweng,
yes,
where it's also like, it affects their personalities, yeah.
So for us as Men and Boy Foundation, it's clear what you need to do, have a 5-year strategic plan and resource that strategic plan with full-time personnel to work on the program, with enough resources.
Yeah.
And then from there, make sure that you develop models that are evidence-based, based, and that you are able to scale them. For instance, the issue of rescue centers, we see that is working.
Yeah.
Make sure that each and every area has a rescue center.
Absolutely.
And then once you do that, and then as I said earlier on, the act, the bill, make sure that is informed by subcultures. If you do those 3 things, you'll be able to address this issue. But if you think that you are going to bring medical male circumcision, you are going to take a doctor from Limpopo to go to Eastern Cape, it's not going to work, because this culture is rooted in our people.
Mr. Nxesi, our parting shot, you spoke about parental rights or permission there, and the modernization, the calls to modernize the practice. I've asked this question to a female guest who's a cultural expert about why mothers are also still being left out of the process of this. Now we're talking about modernization, because we all know that boys have generally a closer relationship with their mothers. And they can decide where this boy goes for initiation, and also support them emotionally as to what to expect, and even coming out of that initiation. When do the paternal rights of mothers then not play a factor when it comes to tradition?
No, it's a myth to say that women, mothers, girls are not involved in the traditional initiation. The proper one, the legal one, mothers, they are highly involved. In my case, when I was going to go to traditional initiation, the first person I talked to was my mother, and then my mother would speak to my father. And my mother, in other words, there are areas and there are steps, and their processes where mothers are involved. It is only in those areas where it's done by illegal traditional surgeons and nurses. So it's a myth to say that mothers are not involved. In terms of the true culture of traditional initiation, mothers are highly involved. However, there are boundaries, but even when
do you encourage them to be involved in this process?
We run workshops. For instance, now as Men and Boy Foundation, we've got support groups of mothers who are going to have boys to initiations, and we've got groups of mothers who their boys have come back from initiations, and those initiates who have passed away, we've got support groups for those. No, even when boys are in the initiation school itself, mothers, there is a way of a mother communicating with an initiate. But it's such that all these things are clouded by these people who are calling for modernization, because some people, they happen to die and so on and so on. However, it's a myth to say mothers in the true African tradition are not involved. Mr.
Nxesi, we're so out of time. I was actually proposing we sit here and talk until 6 p.m. about this topic. It's very topical, but thank you so much. And all your means is, of course, the Men and Boy Foundation. Men and Boy Foundation, formerly known as CODEFSA. That is Mr. Nkululeko Nxesi, who is the executive director. They're shedding some light on, of course, this new bill that has been proposed to look at the issues surrounding initiation schools. Let's take a quick